Hey folks, welcome back to Timberpunk. And before we go back to dealing with the crossflow filter, because I played with that a little bit offline over the weekend, we're going to work on prepping the Dragon Sea for water arriving, because we're very close. Pretty much all of the geothermal fields are dealt with, and whilst you were gone, mostly while the game was paused, I've been clearing up paths and stuff. So we're in a pretty good position. But what I want to do is I'm going to set the game running slowly, because I've set some building off over the other side of the map, which is basically just getting resources in place for reworking the one that we were working on last time, because we've got a new design we're going to put in. But also, there's the bad water source that we capped a few videos ago. I think is a really good candidate for this as well. So that's what we are going to be working on today. And what I've realized in amongst my testing, if you didn't see the community post that I did, because I don't know if they appear in everyone's feeds and if you look at them or not. So a bunch of you commented, and your comments are useful. I do generally try and reply to them all. I have noticed that sometimes YouTube doesn't take my replies necessarily. So if you've commented and I haven't replied, it's potentially that. There was one in particular that I commented on, and then I went back and looked yesterday and saw that the comment, that my reply seemed to have vanished, and I don't know whether that was just on my end or not. So I didn't re-reply because I thought that'd be kind of weird. So yeah. But I had a bunch of useful comments, and one of them was about using a throttling valve going into it, and actually I found that doing that massively decreased the contamination, so increased the amount of water that was produced, which was really useful. So do we still have another entrance? Sort of, but not really. I want to get to replacing this as well, so I'm going to rebuild the ladders and such here, so that we've still got an entrance while we need it. Because what I want to do, I know I mentioned this last time, is put in a watertight tubeway here to seal this up, so that we've still got this if we need it, because the tubeway stations are waterproof. So I mean, I could do that and then they'd build it, so maybe we just do that. Yeah, let's just do that. Let's just go crazy, shall we? So how's it gone? Has it gone? Tunneling, tubeway tunnel, waterproof tunnel. Is it multi-directional? It is, because I've noticed that some of them are not multi-directional. So I'm going to make that a high priority, and that should reconnect that. There is another longer path that they can make use of, but obviously it's not ideal. So hopefully we'll get that built fairly quickly. And if we do, then we don't need to build those. So let's delete those. But yeah, my thought, I do occasionally have them. I know, it's rare. Was that if we can get all three of those, if I can get 3 crossflow filters working, producing 70% contaminated bad water, they're all strength 3, I think. So that's the equivalent of 3 strength 1 sources, roughly. I know 70% is not exactly a third, but it's in approximate handfuls. So it's essentially the equivalent of 3 strength 1 water logs or a strength 3 water source. And that's going to give us a lot of extra clean water for trying to get this full. So I thought that was kind of cool. And while I've been rabbiting on, they've picked up some of the junk that we had here, so we can delete some more path, which is great. And that should now be connected up. I believe it is. I guess we'll see when on the way back. Do they? Yes, cool. Right. So we've got this one over here, and there's a bunch of resources being brought in now. We've got this one over here, which is currently closed off. And what I'm going to actually do is delete the automation. I'm going to leave it closed. And now there's a couple of ways I could fix this one. So we might come back to this one, but for now I'm just going to leave it closed. I'm going to show you what I was working on with this guy. So step one is going to be to block up this. We're going to remove these. And I need to think about the direction that I want to run this. So what I was essentially using was a channel. Then along that channel, I picked out the bad water and then just left the good water. Now, I had some comments about, because you get more bad water than good water, is it easier, is it better, more efficient to just pick out the good water? And I did try that as well. What I found is that because there's more bad water, with the few setups that I tested, I was getting the flooding problem. Now, that if you remember last video, we found that quite often I found this one was stalling, and that was generally, I've realized, because the entrance floods. So you need to protect the entrance. Now, what we could do is I had some suggestions along the lines of we maybe try something, I guess, like this. Now, I guess what we could, or maybe actually what we could do, I think this was one of the suggestions, is we do this so that the water can go down out of this bit where my mouse is, into this, but then it can't flood into here. That's a really good idea, actually. I think when I was originally reading the comment, I didn't have this open, and this is a brilliant idea. This does a lot of the job that we need to do for this one, and I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to turn the block round so that it can be placed. This goes a long way to solving the problem here, actually, and I think probably on this one, all we need to do is put more pumps in. Predominantly more bad water pumps, particularly, so one of the other issues we've got is here we're pumping out the good water that's here, and we're going to end up with more concentrated bad water. Here we're pumping out the bad water, and we're going to end up with some of the good water here, because the water doesn't really mix properly. So yeah, we'll come back over here and we will put in some more pumps, and this probably solves this one, because it basically blocks off the access to the entrance. So thank you for that comment. And when I originally read it, I didn't have the game open and didn't quite visualize it right. Brilliant solution. Really like it. Over here, we're going to do my original idea, and I'm just wondering if I've got enough space to fit it in and dump straight into here, basically. And I might achieve that by coming this way. And I think what we'll do is if we delete those, and then come, where am I putting the, I haven't planned this, as you can probably tell. So we have a couple of things we need to account for. So we need a flow through the crossflow filter. We need a flow to take out the excess 1 meter per second or 1 cms of think it's 1 meter per second now of flow coming out of the bad water source, because we're only going to put 2 through the system. We then need to do all of the filtration. And it feels like we don't have a huge amount of space here. And maybe I go this way. Let's look at maybe going this way. So if we start off with the double wide thingy, no, it's not going to work very well, I don't think. Always plan your stuff first, folks, particularly if you've got people watching you. Let's go this way. So do that. We're going to delete these. Yeah, so do that. Do I want it 2 wide still? I don't think I do, actually. I think I only want it 1 wide. I think 1 is enough. They come across there. They can build that. They can build that. I'm going to put these in that way. So they'll come to there. Let's get these guys building while I think. So they'll come to there. That will go into that, and then that will come that way. That's probably okay. We can always kind of jiggle it around a bit to do the filtration. So I'm going to put my first. I'm going to put that one there, which means probably that's going to go that way. So we don't need those. And we're going to put the other throttling valve this way. So you are going to be set to be 1. Yep, that's fine. The other thing that I want to do is I want to close this in. And I need to go up 1 to do that, to get over the top of the discharge. So just in case, because sometimes people ask, and just for my own peace of mind, we cannot put them straight over the top. So what we're going to do is put some platforms down, grab these guys, put those there. We're going to put impermeable floors on the top. I'm then going to put some levee, not dams, that would create a leak situation. I'm sealing this just because it's less messy then. Because it's essentially going to be sealed going into the throttling valves. So it's going to create a nice closed system, which I kind of like now. Now you folks have got me thinking about it. I really like this approach. It just creates a closed system going into the filter, and then beyond the filter we're good. Let's run a bit of path over here for now. Let's speed the game up, and maybe we can have them working on both. So over here, really what we need to be doing is purely have more pumping. And I think we want more of both. So I'm going to get rid of what we've got now. Yeah, you can go. The game feels very laggy today. It feels very laggy. We'll get rid of you. You can go. Yeah, a little bit of water's going to leak out. Absolutely fine. Don't worry about it, folks. We'll be okay. I'm going to grab you. I'm going to bring that across there. Just for the now. Let's grab the bit of path. And then once that, so we can delete that anyway. Let's delete that. If I want to put 2 pumps there, I need. You'll go there. So you'll discharge to there. There. Maybe something like that. Yep. That should work. So that will take out the good water. We're going to make this much smaller, actually. So we're going to come in here. I know I, went to the trouble of exploderating this. There's a technical term, by the way, exploderating. We did explodorate it, but we're going to take that out. And then I want to put probably 3 bad water pumps. So we'll start them. Just pause for a second. We'll start them here. So you can go, you can go, you can go, you can go. Can I fit 3 along there? 1, 2, 3. No, I can fit 2 along there. So I'm going to have to put another one up here. That's fine. And then what we'll do is we'll delete that, and then we'll ultimately end up deleting that. And that's not quite what I explained, but I think this will do the job. And the combination of your suggestion about blocking this off so that the entrance can't flood, and just having enough sheer pumping power to remove everything will, betwixt them, solve our issues. So let's come back over here. We want to be able to get up on here. You admit, all the testing I did, I was a filthy, dirty cheater, and I did make massive use of the development mode. Because all I was doing was testing the testing features out, I was not testing my ability to build stuff in the game. So we'll do that. We'll grab those. I know I don't need to, but I'm going to run those there. We'll do that and that. And just for neatness, I'm going to go all the way across. Again, I know I don't need to, but it looks nicer. I'm going to do that. And that gives us our then flows of, we've got 2 CMS, it's actually 2, they had to change it, 2 meters cubed per second coming this way, and the excess going that way. And the reason that I've done it this way is that I found if I just had one set to 2 coming into the filter, you didn't get 2. So by having this one limiting it as well, you force it to be 2. I mean, do I need that with how I've done this? No, not necessarily. I could just have this one and I could have it closed and we could just have the pressure build up. But this feels neater to me. So, you do you for how you might want to design this. We're then going to look to place this here. We are going to have to turn this to get room to put all the pumping in. But what we want to do now is blast out our 3 before. So 3 before. And then what we need to do is come in here and put in something a bit deeper, and then we will just double check. Yep, that looks the right size. Awesome. So we'll let them do that. We'll come back over here. That is about to go in. So we can detonate you. You can go, you can go. Yes, I am just doing it one piece at a time. Yes, I know that is more inefficient. I am not afraid to use the delete tool. I actually quite like the delete tool. I'm just being lazy. Right. Agua. Deep mechanical pump. And now I could actually start them all the way over here. Would that allow me to fit everything in? Good question. Well asked. Like you're thinking. Let's delete that and let's start on the far end, shall we? So we want to do that. We want to set you to be bad water. Bad. And that would work. That means we need to reroute the path. Rerouting. Name the film, please. Purely to drive engagement and because it's one of my wife's favorite films. So, you know, why do you not want to let me place that? Because I need to not be a dummy. That's why. Yep. Yep. Let's do that. That'll let us get those in. We then need to duplicate. Take that. Make you be agua again. Take that. Put that there. And we are getting there, folks. So yeah, we've got all these supplies here. Most of them we did not need. Most of them did not actually get filled up by the looks of things. And that's fine. Blow that up. Put that there. And we will be good. Do we need 5 pumps? That is a very good question. Technically, probably not. Because it's only 2 CMS. 2 cubic meters per second. So in theory, we only need 4 pumps. I found using 5 keeps it all nice and happy and stable. We could we get away with 1 good water pump? I don't think so, because we're slightly above what 1 can handle. So, you know, this works, and I don't have a power problem. So I'm saying that we're using a lot of power at the moment. Anyway, yeah. So I think this works for what we're doing. So the only bit we haven't got sorted here is our flow limitation. Now, what we can do, I think, is, and this is experimental. So what you can't do is this. That would be nice. So what we're going to do as an experiment is limit the flow to 1 there. And if we want to see it over the top, I guess we need to move some stuff around. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, we can do this. We can do this. We are competent, experienced timber-born builders. Can I read at this point? I can just move the path over. No, I need a path that goes to there. Yeah, I don't need. Yeah, what we can do is we can move these. In fact, we've got that there. We've got dirt there. So yeah, we can get rid of these. Yes. Let's come here. So you can go. You can go. We'll leave the platforms there in case we need to get back. And then we can delete your. Yes, I want to delete you. I'll copy you, and we'll just move that over 1. Can we reach all of that? Good question. I hope so. Maybe if we grab a bit of path and come across like that, and then we'll have to delete this path because it's going to be in the way, but it'll be fine. It'll be okay. Come on, get it built. So yeah, then what we're going to do? Come on. Good beavers. How are we doing for logs? Our log situation is okay now, so I'm going to use levies. We are going to have to move that power connection, which is annoying. Or we could use the watertight power shaft, which goes in all directions. So let's use that, shall we? Because that's new and exciting. And we could have used that all the way along there, I guess, and then I wouldn't have had to change it. But anyway, I didn't think of that at the time. Right, let's put you in. Let's build another one of those, and that'll sort that out. Grab you, run you along there. Oh, I guess they can't get to those. Annoying. Bosh. Pause you. I know I could use automation. Anyway, let's let them work on that for a moment and let's come back here. You thought I'd forgotten, didn't you? You thought I forgot. I know. That was an awful you pun. But anyway. We're going to flip that over and put that there. We're going to come here. And we're going to also remember that we need to blow that out so they can actually get to the darn thing. And then we're going to make this a little bit deeper. Yeah, here we are. Because I meant to make it deeper. And I forgot. So, you know. Let's just do that now. And while they're doing that, we'll come back over here. We're multitasking, folks. So you need to be built. Landscaping, no. Platforms, paths, and structures, yes. You. You. Bosh. We will go in. Pause for a second. Get all overexcited. There we go. There we go. At this point, we probably are going to need some sort of structure. No, not structure. We're going to need a ladder. Or some stairs. You know. Let's not get overly grand with ourselves here. We're also going to need to run along there. I'm going to let them keep going underneath with that. Till that's done. There we go. They can then build that. That'll be fine. Kind of hoping this will work, seeing as we are boxing this in. I have missed one. Good spot. Well done. I heard you. Good job. Get her done, beavers. Get her done. Right. You can't believe he's still making those cruddy jokes. All right. You again. Awesome. Right. So now what we want to do is, if we're going to turn that way, I really like this idea that you had of doing this. I think that's really neat for protecting that. And we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna go down there. And we're gonna run along here. How many do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Does that work? Pause for a second. No, that doesn't really work, does it? Because I need a way to get the bad water out. Could I run the bad water along there? You know I could. You know I could. We couldn't start it until here. So we could put pump there. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we need to get rid of a bunch of that stuff, but we could do that because we have another way in from over here. That would be fine. And we can always make some more land because, you know, we have that power. So let's start thinking about being able to make more land. Beat those. And once we've done that, we might want to come down here. Seeing as I've just remembered we can delete thorns from above, we can also delete those, and we can delete those. And then once we're down there, we can also delete those. Jolly good. you can go, you can go, you can go. At this point, do I just delete all of those for now? I think I do. Stop them faffing about. And hey, there's already a hole there. So, you know, we can save on the amount of explosives we need. Let's blow that up. That gets us into that. We are going to need a triple platform there with a path on it. And then if I'm thinking that we put... Just going to basically do bad water this side, good water this side. And we could start pumping good water out straight away because it's there. So leave a gap. Put some stuff. But yeah, as I said, the reason that I like to pump the bad water out as well instead of just letting it flow out is I was using some throttling valves and automation to hold the water for a bit to do some to give the deep mechanical pump some time to capture the good water. And I found with doing that I was getting some sloshing going on and stuff. So I found that I was having problems with stuff flooding. Now we're blocking that entrance way. Is that going to be as much of a problem? Maybe not. But let's consider this kind of a... I can't do what I was going to do there because they need a path. Stupid beavers. Need to be able to walk into things. I guess we'll start with the good water there. It's using up my space, beavers. And this is why, folks, you should plan your builds in advance, particularly when you're going to have people watching you playing the game. You know, otherwise you end up looking a little bit silly sometimes. We probably want to prioritize that, and then this side are equally our first pump is probably going to go here. Let me just bearing that in mind. I think we want to be taking bad water out here. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this might be long enough. Get rid of you. I might want to spread these out as well. We'll see. We'll see. What we also might want to do is just run a path over that. So they get there a bit quicker. And we're just going to come back in a moment. Momentarily. As they say. Let's get rid of you because you're not doing anything useful. Right, back over here. So let's place you just for neatness. I'm going to place you and you, and then we're going to place an ladder there, and we're going to place the impermeable floors, and that should be this one sorted. And I think in the same vein we can then, now let's leave those for now. And if we need them, we've got them. You're prioritized by haulers. You are staffed by... We don't actually seem to have the option to put a bot in there. Interesting. I don't know if that's a feature of the mod. Or I'm blind. Either's possible. Right, let's have a quick squiz around here. Looks like we're good. Let's just double check. So this is set to be 1 meter per second. So let's... Oh, the only thing we haven't built yet is... Oh, we can turn it on. Let's turn it on. Open you up. Bosh. I might change where this flows out to. So these are running now, and what I wanted to do was come into decoration and throw you there. Hopefully that can be reached. I was tempted to build one in here as well, but I'm not sure. It should be reachable. Just to monitor the depth, really. And I could use one of the newer ones, but I kind of like the old-fashioned ones. So you can see this is at 70%, which is obviously way better than I was getting before. I was getting 90% before. And 70% contamination is better than 90% contamination if we want water. We're getting a reasonably nice flow of water here. This is sat at about a half. So we're not having the issue that we had before, that it was filling up, even though it's much smaller. The contamination is sat at a number. And yeah, we're getting a nice flow of water coming out of here. So kind of cool, I think. I'm just going to jump over here for a moment. So this is sealed up now. So if we weren't in the middle of or at the beginning of a drought, we could be thinking about putting water into here now. So what we will do is come down here, because we have just here this guy paused. It's been sat there ever so patiently waiting for a very long time. And here come some beavers swimming through the tunnel to do some building. And then essentially the rest of time, life, eternity, we'll be trying to improve the amount of water that we can get into the Dragon Sea as it begins to fill. And we find all the mistakes that I've made. Like the fact that there's no exit to the Dragon Sea, because I don't think it'll fill up yet. But look at that. It's majestic. Currently, this is the only way for water to get in, so it relies on this overflowing, which it does frequently. But yeah, we're not going to be filling it yet, folks. We're not going to be filling it yet. We have 3 buildings which lack power. Which of these? Which is probably to be expected. Okay, so yeah, you might be saying, well, why don't I just let the bad water naturally run out? And as I said, I found that, now I might be wrong. I might just be able to have all of the mechanical pumps pulling clean water out and just let the bad water flow. I'm not saying that this is the perfect solution. It's something that I've got that does the job. And remember, folks, we're just out here peeling carrots. Not everything when you're playing the Silly Beaver game has to be completely perfect, you know. If you're early game, yeah, it helps to be optimizing things. But if you're early game, I would argue that you maybe shouldn't be looking at using crossflow filters to cheat clean water into the game. Yes, it's cheaty. It's cheaty. You may or may not like that fact, but it is, you know. Now, if you choose to use it, that's up to you. I'm choosing to use it. I don't personally, and this is a personal preference, and I'm going to end up contradicting myself in a later save, no doubt, and you can call me on it, feel free. I wouldn't plan to use this until late game. In much the same way that when I had the mod that allowed deep mechanical pumps to convert bad water into good water, I didn't use it until late game, and I'd essentially won in whatever winning is in Timber 1. I think at that point it's fine to use mods that change the behavior of the game that significantly. You know, that's just my personal opinion. You are welcome to use them however and whenever you want. I'm not here to police how you play Timber. I might have just said something completely different to that a few minutes ago, but ultimately I'm not here to police how you play the fictional Beaver Apocalypse game. If you want to use it from day one, you crack on. It's not how I'm going to use it, but you are welcome to. And like I said, I'm probably going to end up contradicting myself on that at some point. Apart from the day one thing, because I think it's pretty unlikely that I'm ever going to be in a position where, unless one of, you know, some sneaky map maker adds it to a map, it's very unlikely that you're going to be in a position on day one where you can actually make use of it. Right, so that's pretty good. So that will take that off of the map. Ultimately, awesome. And at the moment, that's not going anywhere, which is not so awesome. So what we want to do is let's put a one-way valve here because we want water to go into the reservoir. This seems to be behaving quite nicely now. So I typed it on a couple of comments, or at least one comment. I assumed, and you shouldn't assume, that the 2 meters per second thing was not as significant with this mod as it is, 2 cubic meters per second. Now, I was wrong in some of my statements because putting in more than 2 meters per second does not cause you problems in terms of overwhelming the filter. Those problems I were having were in terms of flooding bits of the building, and your brilliant suggestion there has fixed that. But what it does do is affect the efficiency in a rather significant way. And that is something that was worth addressing. And so all of this stuff that I did last time was completely unnecessary. Right, so we have power up there now, so we want to get rid of you. Let's come here. Plug in a throttling valve. You can be unlimited. We'll get that built. We want to do tunneling. Put a tunnel there. Put that there. Put that there. Yep. And then we just need to hook it all up to power. If we do that, and that, and then we just need to run power across there. I'm going to let them do that. I'm going to whiz back over here. And the Dragon Sea is dry. Because it needs a heck ton of water. That's an Imperial heck ton. I don't think there are metric hectons. I don't think there are. I'm willing to be corrected on that, though. You know, I'm more of an SI units kind of guy, so willing to be corrected on whether it's a metric or an imperial hecton. And we are almost ready to get this one rocking and rolling. So, or pumping and filtering. Doesn't sound as cool, does it? Doesn't sound as cool. But it is cool that it's going to give us an I'd say unlimited. I guess it is unlimited, apart from the fact that there's a limit to how much water it can. An indefinite supply of clean water in that it isn't seasonal. Let's go with that. And I guess if we can get it producing, because this is going to essentially be 2 sources worth, there is the potential that this will start dumping water. I guess the other thing that we want to do is, rather than having the overflow from this go off the map, we want it to be going into the Dragon Sea. So that's another change that we need to make. Right, so they have power. So now all we need to do is hook this up to power. Does that count? That does count. Awesome. Now probably we want a closer tube station. That's the word I was trying to stumble over to get out, but we eventually got there. But this will be good. It's more endless clean water. Right, so that's hooked up. So let's jump into here. Open you. Jump up here. I've been a dummy. Close you, because the water needs to come out of the end, doesn't it? Well done. Good spot. That's a pretty easy quick fix. We're going to do that. And this is, I'm pretty sure, unnecessary. But I'm going to do it anyway. And that is, we're going to put those across there. Yeah. Oh, you silly man. Silly, silly man. I'm fully expecting many of you to have pointed out that silly mistake that I made. And you are justified. You are entirely justified. It's been a longish day. I say longish day. Did a lot of traveling today. Like 3 and a bit hours driving, and it's been a very stressful weekend. A lot of external stress at the moment. Hence if you missed the community post, the headaches and the slight dip in videos. So we need to prioritize that by haulers so that they bring the goodies. Maybe it doesn't need a worker. It just needs haulers, doesn't it? It doesn't need a worker. That's why I can't change it. It just needs haulers to keep the filters full, I guess. It's not taking power in. Okay. Which is weird because it looks like it's connected. I think let's do that before, did I? Because it doesn't say it has a power supply. I am confused. Okay, go on. Let's flow a bit lower out of this. Decoration. Let's bung you there. Too far from a district. How is that too far from a district? Oh, call me confused. Now I can reach it. I'm just wondering if the flow's too low. Current half a CMS, yeah. Shut that off. There we go. So it was a low output bad water source. Interesting. Very interesting. Sorry for the awful accent. So we have diagnosed it because I don't think we can put one there. No. So what are we getting out of here? Bung you there. What we're getting coming out of this thing. Come on. Chop, chop. Doesn't seem like a lot because these pumps are ripping through it. 86% contamination. Yeah. Not very much, I don't think. But anyway, we're getting some water, so obviously not as strong a bad water source as I had assumed. Now we could we speed it up by feeding the outflow into there? Could we make it circular? good question. It's a good question. Could I redirect that into there? That's the thing to do. 1 second, folks. 1 second. Bear with me. Trying to decide which one to redirect. Probably this one. But this one's more of a pain because we've got to bring it back to here. And allow for overpressure. Point 3. So what I'm thinking is a complete rework of this. Well, not a complete rework. And a level of rework. Which means a lot of what we did earlier was a waste of time. So we take that. Now we could bring that all the way around to there. That's 0.7. What is that, I guess, is the question. That's the question, I guess. How strong is this? How much more do we want to try and get flowing into it? That's what we need to know. Get 0.2. That will dictate which stream we redirect. Come on, boys. And, oh, they're bots. Come on, bots. I would like to try and boost the efficiency of this. So, and we've got a lot of spare bad water. Right. So it's currently, it's only 1. So we could definitely bring this back round and in. So what does that look like? I think it looks like something like that, there. Let's demolish you. I think we can grab a good path. Run that there. Demolish you. Come over here. Do I want to close that? What I think we do is that. This is going to get messy for a bit, but it's fine. You're going to be a throttling valve. Set to unlimited. No good for me, you know. That was maybe a subtle one. Watch that. Get down here, and then we can demolish both of those as well, I believe. Oh, yeah, can flow 1, yeah. Yeah, I think if we can bring that, all of that 0.7 back, so we're getting 1.7 through it at least, that'll be really good. I don't know if this is going to work the way I want it to, but we can try. We can but try, folks. So there's another one that we have to deal with still over here. Let me know in the comments if you actually want to watch me sort that one out or not. It's probably not going to stay here. I think we're going to have to move it. I'm not certain, but I think probably because I want to put a throttling valve leading into it. We could put that here. Yeah, I guess what we could do is just see how much flow is going into that now. Let's do that. We'll come back to that one. Right. Awesome. So I'm going to use disposable structures for a lot of this. Just in case. Although here we will use dirt. See, how's that one too far? But that's not. Hey, can I? I can be a bit cheeky though. Just build over the top of it. So that'll let us close it off. So let's detonate you. Oh, that was a bit dumb of me. Let's do that. And you, and you, and you. And can they reach everything? I think they can. What's the depth of this? 0.2. So if we make that like 0.45, just so there is a route for it to get out. Because we're essentially making this circular now, and the only exit for it is here, and it is generating flow, obviously. So we do need to have a way for it to get out. That's now up to 1.4, 1.2. Now, I guess logically, is it going to go up if we don't close the loop? No. It's not, is it? Unless I seal this whole system. And if I seal the whole system, then it's going to fill. And I could just have it set to... Yeah. Right. Close. Sorry, this is being a bit... This is going to be a bit of a long video, maybe. Information. Flow sensor. I don't think I can integrate one of these, which is a bit annoying. So we're just going to try something and see if it is better, I guess. And this might be a dumb idea. This might be a dumb idea. I'm not sure. So you're closed, so I'm just going to have basically this loop. Now, we don't actually want any water going this way anyway, so we're going to close those. So we're going to turn this bit into a closed loop. So with a 2 meter per second limit here. I don't know if it's going to flow or if it's just going to sit. I think it might just sit full, actually, because there's no reason for it to flow except that I guess water can get out of there. No, it's not going to generate any more flow, is it? Because the flow is limited by the 1 CMS. The only way I can get it to generate more flow. Yeah. Right. Scratch that idea. Let's reopen that. Reopen that. So I'm going to open that up again. That's set to CMS still. That does its thing. You can be blocked off for now. And what we're going to try is, let's look at blasting you out, closing that, because this is not part of the same system. Yes, it's not a lot more flow. It's only a little bit, but the problem before is we were essentially trying to feed the same thing back in, and I don't think it's going to work properly. I think it would just turn into a static pond, whereas this is flow powered by pumps. So I think this will work. Currently, we're getting 86%. So we're now up to 1.4, 1.5. And we're down to 80%. So we've gained 6% of clean water. And I'm wondering if this might, be a little bit of a feedback loop. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. In that, if we get more, no, because we'll get less bad water, won't we? If we get more clean water, we get less bad water, so there'll be less going through. The alternative would be to pump some of this up or across to boost it up. That would work. But I'm kind of happy with how it is now. We're not 100% there, but you know, we've gained a little bit. We've gained a little bit. I think feeding this back in, unless we if we did it with a mechanical pump, I think it would work. Because we're adding energy back into the system. And we've got the headroom to do that. I just don't think we can do it on the natural flow. I don't think that, you know, don't think the fluid mechanics works there. Could be wrong. It's been a long day, but logically that doesn't seem to stack up for me. So what I'm kind of thinking we could do, if we wanted to boost it some more, is if we put a deep mechanical pump here and let bad water in, we could use that to give the water the boost. Only another 700 HP. Let me know what you think, folks. My brain is kind of pickled at this point. Half of me thinks just circling the water round should work, but logic tells me it doesn't because we need to gain height to keep momentum. And I think that's the case. I think we need the deep mechanical pump here to lift this water up, although we're not gaining any actual height because we're dropping it back into the same pool. We're giving it that speed boost of gaining height. Because I think without it, we're essentially trying to create perpetual motion. But I'm wrapping myself in mental knots, so I'm going to stop. This one just is doing its thing. You know, it's happy, it's content, it's working away. Good, it's feeding water into the system continuously. This one, we are actually we're at 1.7, 1.8, so we could just set this one up, I think. We're not far off anyway, so we might need another overflow, possibly. Because if we end up closing things, we kick more bad water through it. I didn't actually think it was going to be that high. Because it means we've only really got like one CMS going this way. Or this is a really strong source. I'm somewhat curious now. Could be that it's a really strong source. I don't know. But I think maybe we could leave this here and just corral this a little bit to limit it to 2 CMS. But that's a job for another day. Thanks for watching, folks. Hope you enjoyed that. I will see you all. Comments, questions, suggestions, especially my perpetual motion machine that I seem to have convinced myself in and out of. I think we need a mechanical pump here, but yeah. And I will see you all next time.